Hello, everyone, and good evening. Welcome to day 9 of Workforce Detect Anything AI Agents. Today, we are looking at mining operations, and mining is one of those industries where the consequences of delayed information are measured in fatalities, not just money. So today we're going to walk you through the mining site management agent, what it detects, why those detections matter operationally and strategically, and why. And then we'll run a couple of real-time scenarios and show you how this agent works on top of the drone footage that you get via docked or non-docked drones. So without any further ado, let's get into action. So, just a quick recap, we are on day 9 of this entire series. Over the past 8 sessions, we've covered security, the maritime agent, public safety agent, highway and transport monitoring, railroads, utilities, refinery, and construction. Today is mining, and mining is a unique environment. Just a minute, please. All right. Mining is a very unique environment because the site itself is constantly changing, the terrain is moving, haul roads continuously shift, equipment relocates on a daily basis. The monitoring challenge isn't just what's happening, it's keeping up with where things are, where they're supposed to be, and versus where they actually are. So let's look at what makes mining different. All right. So mining sites are not static environments. This isn't a warehouse where things stay in the same place. Equipment is moving constantly. Haul trucks, excavators, bulldozers, haul roads get degraded. There's a lot of dust on these roads. Haul roads are even rerouted. There are blast zones that shift daily or on a weekly basis. Personnel rotate across pit levels depending on the plan of the day. Now, if you look at the right side, what do most mines rely on for monitoring? So, fixed cameras that can't see the pit floor. There's a limit to the number of fixed cameras that you have. Ground patrols are there, but they usually take up more than 30 minutes to reach a location in case there has been an accident or an incident. And given the scale of the mining area, it's not physically possible to be at each area at any given point of time. So this puts people also in hazardous areas to check on what's happening, and if there's an incident. Shift handovers reports that are incomplete and hours of drone footage that nobody has the time to review. The result is a constant gap between what's actually happening on site versus what the operators and operating center knows about. The gap is where incidents actually happen. So let's look at the operational gaps. Let's get specific about what falls through the cracks and how you can avoid them. Blind spots. Let's say a large surface area mine can cover up to 5,000 to 10,000 acres. Fixed cameras cover maybe a few hundred feet around key infrastructure. Everything else, the active pit face, haul roads, stockpiles, areas, the far side of the tailing dams, they're mostly invisible unless someone physically is there or physically goes to that spot. There's delayed verification when an alarm triggers or an incident report comes in. Ground-based response takes anytime anywhere between 15 to 30 to 45 minutes, and in that time, a small issue usually becomes a big one. You have issues with safety compliance, PPE checks, proximity to equipment. You don't want people or vehicles near haul trucks. There are zone restrictions. These are supposed to be monitored constantly, and in practice, they're checked when a safety officer happens to be in that area. And then there's the clearance, something that happens pretty frequently. So after every blast, the zone has to be verified, uh, clear. If it's clear of people, vehicles, blasts usually have a blast radius. So after the blast, what does the change look like? Is it going to affect that topography of that specific region? So drones are obviously solving the coverage problem. They can reach any point in that mine, in a couple of seconds or maybe in minutes. But if nobody's analyzing the video feed in real time, you're just generating more video to review later. And that's where the mining site operation agent comes into play. So just a quick walkthrough on what the agent is and what it does. It sits inside Flight Base 1 and monitors the drone video feed in real time. It continuously scans the frame at whatever interval you configure. It could be 5 seconds to 30 seconds. And when it detects an event which is customized to your specific workflows, you are able to instantly get an alert. You can send that alert to the right stakeholders. Again, keep a record, an evidence in your flight logs. Where did it happen? When did it happen? So that you can go back to it later. So let me show you what those signals actually look like in practice and in real footage. We have used a couple of sample images during this session as well, just so that we are able to paint a picture on how the detection would look like and what all is possible. So let's detect a person near a haul truck. So right over here, you can see there's a truck which is carrying a lot of load, and there's a person on the road as well. So this is where accidents, tend to happen. So the agent fires the, detections. You are able to detect the truck. You're able to detect a person near that. So you are able to figure out the criticality, and the safety manager instantly is able to get this alert while the drone patrol is still in the air. They can radio the truck to stop, maybe, or even send someone to get that person out of that road as well. The alternative is finding about this from an incident report, which is obviously something that you would not want to happen. So this is the single highest value detection in mining. Now let's also have a look at mining contamination. Let me quickly play the video. So in the video, the agent is, while you're looking at this, there's a tailing area visible with, visible discoloration. You can also see that there's an orange brown color. That's the contamination signature. And this is something that mines take pretty seriously. And this is something that you would probably also want to keep in check for your compliances. So this detection gives you that evidence automatically. It's time stamped, it's GPS reference linked to the flight log. Your environmental team gets the alert, your compliance files get the documentation. One patrol flight, and you've demonstrated your due diligence. Now, as I said that blasting at mining sites is again something that happens on a daily or a weekly basis. So before any blast, so there are two types of things that you can detect here. Before the blast, you want to make sure that there are no people or equipment near the blast site. After the blast, you can probably figure out what's the blast radius. Has it, deformed the topography in any way? Is the soil loosened up? Those sort of things. So let me just quickly play the video here. So you can see that there's a site, the drone could be flying over during or before the blast actually happens, and you're able to figure out, okay, hey, there's a person still there, there's equipment still there, and this is a cause of worry, because this is something that you want to absolutely avoid, especially in no-fly zones or no, restricted zones where the blasting is happening. The other is a sample image. So if you look at it, this is a post-blast zone assessment. On the right, you can see there's an excavator. On the left, the rock face is fractured. You can see a lot of rocks coming down. So this could be either a landslide. You could have broken roads, which could disrupt your entire services, disrupt the entire chain of haul trucks that would probably want to do a lot of to and fro by collecting all the rocks and the things that have picked up and want to throw away, etc. So that's the value. You're not replacing the assessment, you're making it from 100 meters above instead of like having a person on site, which is anyway a risk. The other is haul road deterioration as well. So the last detection scenario, you were able to see a blast, and again, this is something where you would want to monitor your infrastructure, the condition of it. So you're looking at a section of mine with a visible slope failure. Material, has come down from the pit wall onto the road level. Again, this is something that uh, mine operators would want to absolutely avoid. So this is an important feature to highlight because every mine has its site-specific conditions that don't really fit neatly into preset categories. The live search lets you configure detections on the fly for whatever you are seeing and you would want to see. Again, over here, if there is a scenario like this, maintenance gets the alerts, road gets closed or flagged for repair, you can then figure out what alternative routes, etc., you would want to have open so that your operations are not disrupted. All right. So the final detection scenario is security mines. There's a lot of thefts happening over there. A lot of people where they're not supposed to be. A lot of vehicles where they're not supposed to be. And unauthorized people or vehicles is something that we've seen, which is pretty common across all of these large physical sites. And this is something that you can do with the mining operations agent as well. So unauthorized vehicle detection, the vehicle detect, it's immediately flagged. You can also detect for equipment. The location is again geotagged, and there's a visual evidence archived as well. So maybe your drone is running, a parameter or a scheduled mission for areas at dedicated intervals where you know that no outsider vehicles are supposed to be. So, for example, any vehicle without your mining company's logo, the AI that's what the AI would be able to detect, and that's going to help you to get the operational outcome of preventing theft, preventing and you can immediately launch your security teams with visual evidence. All right, so let's pull back and look at the operational shift. So on the left, you have the legacy or the non-AI detection workflow, where something happens, someone calls it in, a ground crew is dispatched. It could take a couple of minutes for them to reach the spot, crucial minutes that have already passed. If a drone is involved, the launch can happen in a couple of seconds or minutes. And you're able to get immediate situational awareness and you can take immediate action on top of that. On the right, you have the workhorse workflow. The drone is already patrolling. The agent detects the anomaly during flight. You have geotagged images, a guest share link that you can immediately share with your stakeholders, speakers, spotlights that you can enable in case of different type of scenarios. So this is where you have that entire workflow where you can take quick decisions, you have better situational awareness, and you are able to respond to incidents pretty quickly. So, this is the fundamental shift. You're not really adding a tool, you're changing when information reaches the people who actually need it. So, just want to discuss the full detection coverage as well. So, you have four categories covering the breadth of mining operations. So, this is what we have already pre-configured. If there's something specific that you'd like to add, feel free to do that. If you have any feedback, you can definitely let us know. So, the first is equipment condition, identifying and classifying every piece of equipment, flagging damages, leaks, or operational status, or even the movement of those equipment with time as per your operational requirements. The second is safety, so life critical detections, persons near, for example, haul trucks, blast zone presence, proximity violations, infrastructure damage, so haul road conditions, berms, drainage, the things that cause production delays and equipment damage when they're missed. The third is security, so unauthorized access, perimeter integrity, We have a total of 28 preset detections across the three categories. And again, like I said, these are just the preset categories. If you have something custom, you can do that as well. Just a couple of seconds on the impact as well. So no, with this agent, you're able to reduce the detection to time dispatch, safety incident exposure, manual inspection cycles, post blast clearance delays, and infrastructure blind spots. And what you're actually enabling your mining team to do is site wide equipment awareness, condition based maintenance, evidence backed compliance, and proactive monitoring. So I think we are a little over time, but if there are any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them. All right, I think my camera went off in between. Right, we're done for the day. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask and I can help you figure out. Thank you, John, and we look forward to seeing you in Jaipur as well, and maybe we can have a more in-depth discussion in person. All right, so this was it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to have the solar monitoring agent. So, if solar is a use case you're working on, you want to figure out how detection works for panel defects, vegetation encroachment, security, perimeter intrusions, or environmental hazards, you should definitely join in. And tomorrow is also going to be the last day of this entire series. So, we'll have a short, recap of the entire series, and we can take it from there. So thank you so much everyone for joining in today. Really appreciate your time and looking forward to seeing you tomorrow.